Data Voyagers.
Hello, Data Voyagers. Welcome to the newest episode of the Data Voyagers podcast, navigating the stories behind numbers. We have a very special episode for you today. It's in a different format. It's more like talking interview kind of format. We have a great episode for you. But before we start, just a few reminders. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, whatever you'll get your podcast. Also, visit our blog, datavoyagers.net, and follow our LinkedIn page. In our website, you can also find our store where you can find some pretty interesting swags like t-shirts and mouse pads and stickers and more. And that helps to support our program. And if you listen to us in any podcast platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and others, make sure to give us 5 stars. That helps to bring the program to more people. So, as always, I'm Igor Alcantara, and with me, my co-host and partner in crime, Angelika Klidas. Thanks, Angelika, to organize all of this. And we have also some amazing guests. So, you mind introducing them to our audience?
Yeah, my amazing girls, or ladies, should I say? Stephanie Robinson, Priscilla Paulinelli, and Gwen Stamp, Gwendolyn Stamp, to be honest. So I will let you introduce yourselves piece by piece. So I will begin at the right corner on top. Steph, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. So Steph Robinson. I kind of go by Steph. So I am a Qlik luminary. I work at JBS in USA, and I am a Qlik BI manager. So I look after kind of all of the Qlik products at JBS, and we're kind of a big Qlik shop here. So that's a lot of stuff. And I am a Qlikie through and through. Been using Qlik for many, many years. Hi,
Just
everyone.
like just like all of us, we bleed green, as we say. Priscilla, would you please be so kind to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody, and thanks to be here again with you. It's always my pleasure. So I'm Priscilla. I'm here in Brazil. I'm head of data analytics for a steel tube industry. Qlik Luminary since 2021, and like you, I love to discover new things on this platform. So it's very good to be here.
And last but not least, Gwen.
Yes, Gwen Stamp. Currently the Associate Director of the Qlik Center of Excellence for Raymond James as a Qlik shop there. And we have a lot of initiatives, a lot of Qlik products, and currently right in the middle of a cloud strategy phase. So it's never a dull moment. I've been working with Qlik in some capacity for many years. Bleed green, as Angelika said, and really happy to be here with this group of women today. So, and Igor, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. It's for joining us today. But we also should thank all the other women that are out there, right, in the Qlik community, and that joined the Qlik, the community, the Women Who Qlik. And of course, we should also thank the Qlik organizations for helping us in letting this community grow and giving us that spot that we need to address that we need more women in our field. Sorry, my throat is. Igor, I think you want to say something about our sponsor, right?
Yes, so we'd like to thank our sponsor, IPC Global, and we have a little message from our sponsor. At IPC Global, we're different. Our mission goes beyond delivering data projects. We drive real business outcomes. We help our clients grow revenue, streamline operations, and reduce costs by meeting them where they are and empowering them to achieve their objectives. What sets IPC Global apart is our commitment to keeping customers for life. We earn that trust every day through humility, professionalism, integrity, loyalty, and a family first mindset. We're not just technical experts, we're business partners who listen deeply and are relentless about delivering value. When you work with IPC Global, you get a team fully invested in your long term success because you are part of their family. At IPC Global, we do business differently. If you wanted to know more, go to ipc-global.com. So let me just start with one question, and then I'll listen more than talk. And just because when Angelika and I were talking and planning this episode, there was one word that she mentioned that kind of got stuck with me, which is fearless. So what do you think? And the question for all of you who feels like answering, how do you think like being fearless mean in the context of your career in data?
Go ahead. Being fearless, what does it mean for you in your work?
I'm
Yeah.
thinking this one through.
Yes.
I think that it's, for me, I think it's always putting myself out there. So despite obstacles that come my way, and have come my way in my career, and my I think it's just always just ignoring those obstacles and putting myself out there and being kind of very honest about who I am and what I can do. And I think sometimes that can be scary and you have to be fearless. So that's kind of what it is for me.
Yeah, it's being fearless and being bold and just, as we say in Dutch, get on that box of soap, right? And tell
Right.
stories.
I mean, I think one of the things for me is like I changed my career pretty much completely from moving from like the business side to the IT side at 50 years old. I think that's fearless, and
Yeah.
change companies at the same time. So I think that's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff to me that's fearless.
Yeah. Gwen, can you share a moment where you had to be bold and
Yes.
fearless to challenge the status quo in your team or in an organization?
Yeah, I do think being fearless is about learning to be, confident with your ideas or recommendations or your direction, even though maybe unpopular, and it's maybe you're in a position of trying to say this is what I think it should be, the direction or the solution or what have you, and you might be new, you might not, you might have sort of this uncertainty around how it will be received, but being fearless means that you sort of go forward, advocate for your ideas, and pushing for clarity or governance, or even if it's unpopular, and trying to empower others in the same way. So a great example of not exactly Qlik related, but certainly data related, is where stepping into a role where data governance was increasingly important, and trying to sort of champion that, understand why it was important, because it was sort of a concept that was leveraged at the company without a lot of training. So it's uncertain. It wasn't well received. There was a lot of pushback. So it took some study to learn why it was important and how it worked for that company. And then trying to listen to the stakeholders and what are their concerns. So you partner with them to sort of understand why they might be, unwilling or not supportive, but still pushing through that the idea is important. I hear your concern, and here's how it will help you in the end. So that was really a difficult journey. But
Yeah, we talked about it many times. I know. Yeah, and then and suddenly, since the era of AI, data governance and trusted data has never been more important than now. And that's the whole thing. Priscilla, I have a question for you because you are from Brazil. I am from the Netherlands. We have two amazing women from the US. If we look to the culture area in Brazil and being a data leader, how do you is there a difference because you are from a different country just like I am? Is there a difference in culture in and when it comes to a place that a woman is in a data leader role?
Yeah, for sure, Angelica. We know that to spread the data literacy and to put the data literacy programs in place and running, we have to discuss a lot about culture. And
Yeah.
of course, we have here in Brazil some. It's a huge country. It's a big country, so we have differences in many situations, but it's sometimes it's even more difficult because of that, because we have to change some practices or some kind of barriers that we face when we try to organize this kind of things. So some things, as we discussed before, are, let's say, we face the same kind of challenge in all companies around the world, but for sure we will have some differences, and these can impact the way we do the things.
Do you have to be fearless as a woman in a Brazilian company? Do you have to be fearless?
Yeah, I always say that the fear comes, but we have to go with it, and do what have to be done. So many times we saw situations where the fear appears. Do I know this? Am I able to handle this kind of problem or this kind of situation? How to deal with people that are more aggressive or more with some kind of behavior that you don't agree with. But I always used the same thing since I was young. A good work cannot be. You cannot say anything about something that is a good work. It's good. It's delivered. It's ready. It's so I always use this even when I was with fear. I am a teacher at the university, and in the past, when I was 26, 27 years old and was in front of a male class, uh, I had fear on that time. My God, what am I doing here at this with this age? But I did it. I went. I did what I have to do, and the results come. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. I remember, when I became a teacher, it's 16, 17 years ago now, almost. In beginning of September, it will be 17 years. Um, and I just got my graduation, and I started to be in front of the class. I was used to do trainings, but on topics that I knew very well, and sometimes there are topics that you are not that familiar with yet. So you have to learn a lot. And I remember one of my first lessons, I noticed that I was not feeling above the theoretical concepts, but I was still in the theoretical concepts. And I had to grow from and be fearless and bold to go above the theoretical concept, so I could tell stories, right? Like Igor is also a storyteller. I'm also a storyteller, and that was the moment I realized, okay, I have to work on this. I have to, have guts, go for it, and from there grow and go beyond. So yeah, that was valuable lessons. I learned a lot during the years, and as I told you, Priscilla, you have to practice to run at the end, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about career and mentorship, right, Igor? Maybe you want to do some introduction about the second segment that we want to discuss.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the Um, so just one comment about a few things that you all said. There's a few people who know me not know that I like reading at least two like science papers per week, and I read in the past some papers about like the work environment, and they say that uh, women are way less likely to apply to a job unless they find 100% confident. So let's say a job has like 10 requirements. Most of the women, they only apply if they actually have experience in every single one of the 10 requirements. When men, if they have like four, they just give it a try. So when you say about fears, like just be there and just have fear. We have concerns, but you just do it anyway. Because not having fear is not being courage, it's just being stupid or not aware. Having courage is actually going, even if you have reservations of fear, etc. And talking about the career in data, I look up some studies about it, and overall in the workforce, women are nearly half of the workforce, but only 15 to 25% of the roles in data analytics and data science, and even fewer than that if we only consider senior levels. And this is according to a BCG report about the workforce in tech and data. And women in tech is believed to be around 35%, which is above the confidence interval. So it's a significant difference. And at the same time, a career in data, it seemed as one of the most promising ones. It's not that because we don't go to the data career because it's not worth it. It's a good career, but not enough women are in that career. So why do you think not enough women are pursuing this path?
Actually, I think it starts with at elementary school, right? How can we interest girls from 10 to 12, 13 years old to become interested in technology or in IT? So yeah, I think it should start there, from my opinion, from my personal opinion. And secondly, then the girls go to school and become women, and then they end up not in the technical world or in the IT world, but they pursue other careers. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't think, if I'm talking from the Netherlands, I think we should put more effort on elementary school. We have 12 until 12 years they are at the elementary school, and then they go to the higher educational area. I think from the age of 10 to 11 and 12, they should learn things about programming and even fixing cars or whatever. I really would love that girls would learn that as well during the elementary schooling period, and from there they can make better choices. But I think in the Netherlands we have to make the choice too soon. At 13 you don't know what you want to become at the end, so they have to learn. I think they have to learn several things. You cannot choose a direction just yet. That comes when you are 16, 17, 18. I think. I don't know if the other girls are with me. Gwen?
Yeah, so I can just speak for myself. My experience when I started my career was I really didn't know what it meant to have a data career. I didn't actually pursue a data career. I just eventually found my way into that through natural evolution. But the reason for me was just lack of awareness of what it was and what it meant, and other people who had data careers. This was just not something I was familiar with. I'd seen as an example, or been mentored by someone who had a data career. So, for me, I feel like I've always tried to share, a lot of lessons with my daughters. I always mentioned that, and I used to just be, the data person. And then as they got older, it was like more about what exactly does that mean? Trying to push that to them wasn't easy from a mother's perspective. But when they became curious and trying to explain that, I realized it's kind of difficult to explain. The components are there. You need to have certain components and curiosity, in your background. But trying to show how you tie that together and where the value is part of the challenge. So they need those examples. They need it explained, and then also they need. I feel like it's important to have sort of an open environment where people feel safe asking that kind of stuff, right? Because sometimes we have this this fear of being an imposter, where it's like, do I know what this is? Do I not know what this is? Can I have this conversation? So giving mentorship there and creating the awareness, encouraging them to use data and encouraging them to ask questions. I think those things would have helped me, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more of it's the traditional path still somewhere, right? For me, I also accidentally grew into the data world, and from there I started doing the things that I do now as well. So yeah, I think it's is it suddenly that you also Steph came suddenly into the IT and data world. You suddenly found something
It,
that you're really good at,
yeah, and I think
even
it's
though
kind
you
of
didn't believe.
no, you're very correct, and I think it's very interesting because I think when you look at the question of why is it such a lesser percentage of women than men? I think predominantly data and IT were originally, like if you go kind of back, that kind of area was very man dominated, and then I think as women have kind of found their path, women have kind of chanced into it. Every woman I spoke to pretty much has kind of fallen into a data role or fallen kind of into an IT role. Now, around my age group, very specifically, like for me, it was I just happened to be doing a executive assistant position for a climate change scientist in Australia, and I took the job literally because I'd had to move back to Australia to look after my mum who was sick, and it was I grabbed this job, and all of a sudden I ended up with this amazing man, and it was all about data. It was all about statistics. And I was like, wow, I love this and I'm really good at it. And that was kind of how I found my path in. But I think, I'm reading that book that you suggested, The Invisible Woman, Angelika. And this book is phenomenal. And I'm really beginning to understand, it's not like someone's being mean to women, or it's like people are trying to keep women out of this, out of out of IT or out of data, but it's very much around how society has kind of put women from hundreds of years ago, and now like we're kind of like we're fighting against like history, really, in my view. And from I'm reading that book, it gives you so many examples. I think that's why we see that statistics. And I think you're right. I think it has to start at such an early age, like when people in school exposing kids to like more data, more STEM studies. And I think that will start to even stuff out. And then I think it'll give women a lot more confidence as well. So really an interesting topic.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's in Dutch. So I'm trying to translate it on the spot. There are 3 themes in this book, and 3 themes in themes that in our lives that continuously occur. It's the female body. It's the unpaid caring burden for women, and the violence of men against women. Those are the 3 themes that comes back significantly all the time, and that struck me really hard. And I thought, well, it's really for our listeners and viewers. You should have a look at this book and read it. It's The Invisible Women. It's a great book. It gives you things in a total different perspective.
Yeah, and I think it answers that statistic question.
Yeah, exactly. Priscilla, what kind of mentorship do you wish you had earlier in your career, and how do you trying to be that for others now?
So while you were all talking about, I was thinking, and we always go back and understand how we came to this situation. But it's funny because when I was at school, I decided that I didn't want to be nothing about like medicine, to work with people. I was a very introspective person. I liked to study. I was very good on my grades, and nothing stopped me because at that time I did some. I think about and my let's say my friends, my female friends, went to law school, to psychology, so many different areas, and then I decided to go to engineering. So I started on engineering. It was 1 year and a half, and while I was there, I started to like just the programming subjects. So I was different since the beginning because I was different. I saw I had a class of, I don't know, 57 men and 3 women. And then I decided to move from engineering to computer science. So I started with this graduation, and then I had honor in the end of the graduation. And everything was always open, because I think I didn't block myself with anything. So if someone tells me, Priscilla, you will not get there, it's impossible to you, it's where I will go. I never stop it because of any comments, any. And maybe, Angelica, answering your question, I think in the beginning, my family and people around me didn't understand. And when I decided to change the university, they told me, no, you have to be an engineer. You started, so go until the end. But I have a focus, and it happened, and it was very good. I'm really proud of everything that I did during these last 20 years working with data. And I
Yeah.
had good mentors, considering my first data warehouse teacher. It's a person that I talk until today. When I saw all the possibilities that I had, I look at that discipline and say, this is what I want to do. So I think it was in the beginning. The beginning, I feel that if I had orientation since there, maybe it
Yeah.
could be easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. You know, and there's also a personal story that I don't think anybody in the data field knows about me. But when I was 13 years old, I wanted to become a you know, the artwork in museums. I wanted to be a museum restorator. So I went to a school in Amsterdam, and it was called the Union School of uh, making furniture, putting wallpaper, and putting fabric on chairs and banks, you know, like the sofas. Um, and I did that study and I went there. I was the only solely girl with 750 men, the only girl. And I managed to get through until 1.5 years. And then it became too hard because I was a girl. They were always stronger than me. I I was good in the things that I did. I always had high grades. But then they started, you know, bullying me a lot. And after 1.5 years, I said I have to move to another school. And then I went to another school in a more theoretical way to learn about business and economics. Um, but my dream still in making furniture and doing things with my hands. Well, you girls know that I love to build things also in my house. You have been here, Gwen and Priscilla. You have been in my house, so you know. So yeah, that's. Would I love to see it differently? Yes, I think so too, because I did not have a mentor at that moment to help me and guide me through my years at that specific school to pursue my dream. So, yeah, does it make sense what I'm trying to say, Gwen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So let's talk about impact, innovation, and future, because we try to impact the world, the data world. And Gwen, where do you see the greatest opportunity for women to lead innovation in data and analytics today?
Ooh, oh, let's start with the
Difficult
easy.
question, I think.
Great.
Difficult
Great
question.
question.
But no, but let's make it a little bit more simple. Where do you see the greatest opportunity for women to go into that data field and become successful?
Wow. So definitely go into the, I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I do feel like, even so now with, new tools and generative AI, et cetera, I don't want to belabor or be using overly buzzwords or concepts, but I do think that there's a lot of opportunity to contribute, to upskill, and to really get hands-on in data. So data means for me, now it means not just like analytics tools or whatever, but it really is the whole end-to-end concept of where do you find data, how can you prepare data, what sort of lens should you look at data through, who will use it. There's a lot that goes into sort of that end analytical product, whether it is visualizations or AI or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like, I think there's a lot of places to plug in, but you don't have to be super technical. You just have to be curious, and you have to learn what the impact of, like, let's say the data is, and the data can be numbers, but now we know that it can also be just unstructured data. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I just feel like it's important to that women can have a career in data in lots of ways, create impact. But basically that would just be finding something you're curious about and learning and listening to others, looking for mentors, or examples of folks who are making their way in a data career, and just asking questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a good. And Priscilla, we both are teachers and we both are very curious women. And the world of data and AI is evolving like crazy, right? What we learn today can be tomorrow outdated. How do you manage? Because I'm trying to stay up to date, but how do you manage to be there, and learn about the new things? How can you manage with your busy? I see sometimes your messages and like crazy. And how can you find the time even to write a newsletter every week or every month?
Everybody asks me this, Angelica, because I'm really a curious person, and I like to be updated. So it's something that I do when I sit to write the newsletter. I think, what is the most important thing that happened to me in the last month that could give people some kind of curiosity, and maybe to help someone else to solve one problem or to think differently. So it's something, I love what I do. I really
Yeah.
love what I do. And being in the classroom, yesterday I gave my last question of the semester. My students bring me a lot of content and tools. And yesterday I heard about the N8M, a new tool, AI agents. So it's something that, okay, give me the Qlik, and I search for it, I read, and that's
Yeah.
the way. Talk a lot, and
Yeah, I talked about it last week with a friend of mine in Canada as well. Yeah, and I think it's very important, right, Steph, to love what you do, to keep on learning. How can help? How does the woman in Qlik plays a role in this section? How does it play a
I'm
role?
I'm really hoping that the whole Women Who Click movement, and I'm going to call it a movement, inspires other women. Like, just kind of like it gives the scope and the possibility of what someone can do. Like if someone tuning in and it's like, well, a young woman who maybe didn't think they could have a career in data sees us and goes, oh yeah, that is possible. Or because you listen to other people and other women, begins to find your voice. Like, I think Women Who Click is a group of we are mentors. We're here to mentor and help. We have, give people a hand up in this industry. We don't have all the answers, but we're sure we are bold and we are fearless and we are kind of there for people. And I think that's what Women Who Click is all about. It's all about, helping other women get a foot up and get into this industry. So I think that's really cool.
Now that's what we do amongst us, the four of us as well, right? I worked with Gwen with Qlik Answers to try to understand how it worked, and then we found other things. We recorded it even with Priscilla talking about data literacy and also being fearless in just doing the stuff that you do nowadays, right? Believing in yourself, and that counts for you as well, Steph. The stories are amazing. How do you think that? I'm sorry, Igor, that I'm pausing you out every time. But how does Qlik support our group? Because it's our group, right? How we are with so many women. How do they support us on this initiative that we have? Gwen, Steph, or Pri?
Yeah.
We can all kind of jump in on that one. I mean, I think since we had the idea and kind of threw it out there, Sarah, Chris Powell, all the way to Mike Capone. I mean, everyone's just been behind us in every idea we've had. Getting us together, discussing, okay, where can we take this to? Putting together, the whole community around Women Who Qlik. I mean, and then, even just coming up with swag and T-shirts, having us present at Qlik Connect. I mean, I think they're all in as we're all in. And I think that's really fantastic. And big shout out to you guys, because it's just wonderful.
Yeah, and how and the was that we decided not to sit on the stool, right? Because it was turned around. There we were, all the group of us. The other one maybe. What would be the future of the Women Who Qlik community, guys? Maybe Priscilla or Gwen?
Yeah, I definitely hope to see, just creating that network, that community where all of the things that we've mentioned earlier about things that might have made a difference in our lives, or what we can share and be open about our personal experiences, so that people feel more comfortable just being, more honest and testing the waters, and becoming fearless in their own journey. So I hope that that the Women Who Qlik continues to grow, and really it can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So there's not like one thing, but just a community where in this small little group that we have here, we've done all of these things. We've shared our personal stories. We've learned together. We've upskilled together. We've been honest together. So I feel like just, opening that opportunity and that experience up to others, and seeing that grow, and empowering others is what I think would be just amazing.
One thing that
and what does it mean?
No,
Yeah.
just to complement
Come on, Priscilla.
one thing that we discussed on the last day of the Qlik Connect this year was that here we see women supporting other women, because sometimes I saw in the past the opposite, women not supporting. So it's something that we started to discuss that is important. I cannot be the person that will say no, that will cause some kind of I don't know. It's about to support. So this is the thing that I would compliment.
No, I don't think only it's what we get back from the world is that that women can be a little bit like a cat, right? That's what I hear, and that they also do it to each other, right? And I think to really empower each other as persons, we have to see each other as a person. I don't think, particularly as a woman or a man, we just have to see each other, right? I see you guys, I see Igor, I see Steph, I see you all. And when you see the person, I don't think it matters if it's a man or a woman. You just have to see the person and empower the person. If it's man or female, I don't give a freaking point about it. But I do believe that when we have the ability to empower, right? Maybe I'm different, right? Maybe I'm not the regular girl in this world, but I truly believe if we see each other, as discussed also at Qlik Connect, if we really see each other, we can help each other and empower each other, and that is what should be done.
Can I add something to what
Last
you just said,
question. Yeah,
Angelika?
I think so.
As a man, also I
Yeah.
see our role in this to, of course, to be welcoming and all of that, but to look at the mirror and question ourselves how I'm treating the woman in my life and the woman in the work environment. Am I being fair? Because we, companies and society in general, we all benefit for having a more diverse work environment. Because if you have like different perspective, different ideas, different living life experiences, we all grow together. I don't want to have a team that everybody thinks like me, because then what's the benefit of that? I could just clone myself when that becomes available. So we all become, and it's not that women are not interested in like STEM careers. It's just because, and a lot of times there's a lot of future society puts, and they don't have the opportunity because a lot of the burden of like raising children, for example, they all fall into the woman's, which it should not. I mean, it should be like a shared responsibility in a lot of other things. So I'll give you like a personal example. In a few years at IPC, we hire a few women who they're all still in the company, and people came, oh yeah, a great initiative of you like focusing hiring women. I said, well, there was no focus. I just didn't block them, and they naturally were qualified and they naturally came. I didn't just use the natural blocks people use. And question, each one of us should question ourselves: Are we being fair? Are we giving the same opportunity? Because one thing is hire, another thing is, okay, now what else? Are we giving the same opportunity for them to develop, to grow? Are we using the same lens when we evaluating men and women? Because a lot of times I see things like, and I'm saying specifically at IPC Global, I think like actually I think people do it from my perspective. Of course, we should ask the woman. They might 100% disagree with me, but I think it should have. We should look at how we treat everybody, if it is fair, and not only men and women, but also depending on where we were born or your religion, race, and all of those aspects. For example, a lot of times when men defends one idea, oh, he is assertive. When a woman does the same, using the same words, the same tone of voice, oh, she's emotional or something. So are we being unfair like that? So we should question. Don't assume you're fair, you're amazing. Question yourself: Am I? Because we have, as men, responsibility in that as well, and we need to, take that responsibility, and we all benefit from it.
That made me think of
Exactly.
something that Angelika shared recently with me that I am not ashamed to say had me in tears. And it was this sort of, I think, informal test, if you will, with children. And the reason why it was so powerful is a couple of things. One is the kids are innocent, and they don't have this shaping that we've lived through as adults, that we've sort of lived through. They're young, and they don't understand or don't have these these built up expectations, right? But they were in pairs, a girl and a boy, and they were both tasked with the same job. It was a pretty easy job to follow, and in the end, there was a very objective sort of prize, if you will. And what I found interesting was they they each did the same task. They did it together. They high-fived each other. They worked as a team. It was really, really cool. And in the end, they were told to close their eyes, and each were given the reward or the prize for doing the task. And it was like candy in a jar. And in every case, the little boy had more candy in his jar than the girl. And it was funny because until they looked at the candy, they each were thrilled. Wow, I got candy. And then they both looked, and the little boys seemed embarrassed. And the little girls were like, what? And then they had this sort of like exchange, and the little boy was questioning, well, we did the same job, and she did it just as good as me. And she's like, I did the same thing. Why do I not get the same amount? And I just thought that was just such a like powerful storytelling example of how we can do better, even as adults. There are things that are very tangible that impact women in data, still, I think, and maybe in other careers as well. But it just felt like in this round that was something I wanted to share when we were talking about that. How
it's so powerful because it's so simple, but it's so powerful. It's just like the piece of paper that and if you want to stretch it again and have it as a paper, it's scarred. And that's what happens if you're not empowered as well, or if you're bullied. The scars will remain. They will never go away. And that is also in the empowerment of women, I think. We should have more empowerment against women, for women, to let them actually blossom, right? That's what we want. Okay. Let me see. Gwen, what is the boldest decision you ever made in your career?
The boldest, most recent was a transition to a new role after solidly being planted in a role for more than 10 years. As I mentioned, in my whole career, I've been sort of in the Qlik scope or data and analytics scope. But I went back to school and got kind of like, I'm ready to keep growing. I'm ready to keep going. And my family supported me in both initiatives, both school and the career change. But I think I'm really happy that I made that change, because it's not about 100% me moving over to do something I knew already how to do. There was sort of a baseline, and there was a growth opportunity there that I was ready to take on. So it's been a bold move, but so far paying off, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. What was yours, Priscilla?
I think the transitions are always hard. I did one in 2021 when I was invited to be a manager in a car rental company. And I was 8 years in a health insurance company that I had. The team was very nice to me. I knew everybody. I worked with Qlik, deliver more than 200 dashboards. And then I decided to change. Everything was good. Everything was working, but I needed to challenge myself, and I wanted this manager position. So on the first day, I cried a lot, and I asked myself, why did I do that? But everything was nice, and I had a very nice woman director. She was a mentor to me in the 1.5 years that I stayed with her. And then another transition last year, a lot of, let's say, difficult choices to make, but I always move forward. I'm always trying to see what comes next.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that moment in time. Steph, for you, what was the boldest decision you have made in your career? The move to IT?
Yeah, but I think the bolder decision for me was after I kind of moved from Australia to the US, from the US back to Australia, settled, got my career going, was doing fine, packed it all up and moved back to the US. And that was really bold, and started over. Like started, in my late 40s, started from zero again. And I'm not just talking zero career, I'm talking no money, no house, no anything, like started from nothing.
Rich.
I think I had, a couple of grand in my bank account, my daughter and me, and off we went. So I think that was the boldest, and it paid off.
That was
And
the
it
most bold
needed
one.
to be
Yeah.
done. Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah. For me, I think the boldest decision that I made was to transition from the governmental organization where I worked 25 years to the commercial line of work. And the first 6 months, I was wondering, did I make the good decision? And and then the year started running since 2014. So, and I'm happy where I am now. But let's ask Igor as well. Igor, what was your boldest decision that you made in your career?
Oh, was to quit medical school in the 5th year. I think that was probably
Yeah, that's all in episode 1. That story.
I think it was probably
I can imagine.
the biggest one.
Yeah. Okay, so I will give you a sentence, and girls, and name me a book that helped you shift your mindset.
Oh.
Gwen.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, I need to go through my book list. Oh my gosh.
I know a book, but I don't know if in English it's the same. Igor, you can help me because it's Fast and Slow Two Ways of Thinking.
I think that's the title. Yeah, I know the book.
Okay. Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah.
Who
Okay.
moved my cheese?
Who Moves My Cheese?
That's a
Highly
classic.
recommend that book. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It,
And mine is Ikigai.
Ikigai is
Yeah.
good.
Mine is still Ikigai. Yeah.
The-
Yeah. Now, Gwen, you have to come with a
Sorry.
name.
I'm sorry.
You
I
can't.
cannot, and I did not prepare that go through. So, but oh my gosh, I'd say that the biggest book that I've read, really honestly, lately was Dama Dimbach.
I know, Dama den Bock, you are a
600,
practitioner. I know that
607
one. Yeah.
pages.
Yeah.
But that was an investment that I made in myself about 2 years ago. And I think I'm sort of frozen there, but it was 600 plus pages of pure data joy.
Okay. And Igor.
There's so many. I remember The Art of Statistics. I think I read that twice or 3 times. Will be all about statistics. And yeah, I guess the best book I ever read in my life, it's probably The Trial from Kafka or Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky, my 2 favorite writers, but that's not professionally speaking, that's overall.
Yeah.
Mine is
That's not
Data
for me.
Literacy in Practice, Angelika Klidas. I don't know if you know this book.
Thank you. I was hoping you would say that.
well done, Priscilla.
Of course.
Yeah. I think a lot of books are here. I'm surrounded by books, and I even like novels. Right. I'm still the old-fashioned girl that likes to read books. Yeah, I think Ikigai, that changed my life 2 years ago, from being a manager back to the consultancy advisory trainership that I do now. I think, that was also a bold decision, by the way, because my money dropped, of course. So I have another question for you, ladies. One myth about women in data you wish we could end today. One myth that we would end today. Steph.
Okay, that women can't have a career and a family at the same time.
exactly. Good one. Priscilla.
I'm like Gwen now. I don't know about the impostor syndrome, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived this a
Yeah.
lot, a lot, a lot. Then I discovered that not. I knew
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but as we discussed earlier, when you have the ability to recognize it, you can act on it, right? So if you recognize that you're suffering from something, an element of the imposter syndrome, you can work on that and grow beyond. Gwen, one myth.
I think a myth. I think that women are. I think Igor already stole my thunder there. Women are too emotional to lead as well. But I definitely think that's a myth, and that's just basically because we're using different words to describe passion.
Exactly, I think so too. So yeah, I second all of you. So I cannot think of anything else. These are the most important things for me personally. The grow moment of recognizing that I was suffering from the imposter syndrome, or the lack of ability of writing a book, because everybody told me, you are too dumb. No, you are dyslexic. You cannot write books. Here we are, right? The last one. Finish the sentence, please, ladies. The future of women in data is
Yet to be written.
Yet to be. Ooh, I love that one. Yeah. Priscilla, the
Successful.
future of women in data is
Successful.
successful.
Yes.
Yeah. Gwen,
Unlimited.
Yes.
Limitless.
unlimited. I love you girls, really. Igor, do you want to finish the sentence as well? The future of women in data is
Whatever you guys want it to be.
whatever you guys
Sky's the
want it to be.
limit.
Dare to dream.
I like it.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I remember, I don't remember the sentence quite correctly, but the one from the I have a dream. Who was this guy?
Martin
Martin
Luther King.
Luther. Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Yeah, I have a dream. I have a dream too, that we see each other. That would be my dream.
Yeah.
Thanks, girls, for this amazing conversation. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Sorry, Igor, that I moved you a little bit to the side.
No, absolutely.
but
I'm
maybe
here to listen more. Yeah.
you can conclude it.
No, it's amazing. So thank you, each and every one of you, not only to join our conversation, but mostly to all the contribution to the community. It's in my email signature, something that I truly believe from one of my favorite philosophers, Roger Waters, from the Pink Floyd. Together we stand, divided we fall. I truly believe that in the power of the community. And one of the most important and thriving communities we have is the Women Who Qlik. And actually, now I would like to invite you guys just to explain to all the women listening to this now, if they want to join Women Who Qlik, how can they join the group?
They can join the group at the Qlik community area. We can share the link with all the documents that you will add to this to the podcast. I think it was an amazing session, really, and it's a good reminder that women aren't just participating in the data space; they are also redefining it. We ladies do, right? We can help change the world from being invisible to being visible. That is what I believe in. And if we are really, truly, truly ready to see each other and work with each other and respect each other, I think from there we can grow beyond everything. Igor.
Great. So thank you everyone who's listening to this. just make sure to subscribe to our podcast, whatever you listen to your podcast. All the links that we mentioned, including Angelika's book, will be in the post of this episode. See you next time. Now we can all say goodbye in our native language. Tchau, pessoal.
Tchau, pessoal.
Tot ziens.
Bye.
Bye.
Data